My name is Vladimir Grigorenko. I'm an iconographer, and I was born in Ukraine many years ago. And I practice iconography for over 30 years now. Work for churches, work for private commissioners, and I study iconography in that time where there were no teachers, no schools, nothing in Ukraine. So I have to recreate old traditions for iconography, technological and practical traditions. And I must say that I started iconography way before I become Christian. It sounds strange, but that's fact. Being a secular artist for years, I tried to find the truth in what I'm doing, and that's how I came across to traditional icons. For that time, they existed for me only as art objects. So I start research more about it, I start practicing doing them myself, and only when I brought them to church, I have been convinced that I need to become Christian first and iconographer second. So that's how I started my practice in, well, it was 1991 when I was baptized. And I do iconography from 1989, something like that. So I have been invited in this country by late Archbishop Dmitry to decorate St. Seraphim Orthodox Cathedral in Dallas. You might see them before. Well, I did not plan to stay here, but we decided to continue, make not only iconostasis but whole murals. I decorated from top to bottom, and it took me several years to do so. So this church is a beautiful example of contemporary American architecture done by a local architect, and this church tries to follow the example of best European architecture, if I may say that. So this church is covered with with the plaster, so even bare walls of that church looks very natural and very warm, if you wish. Many contemporary buildings done by in gypsum boards and covered with acrylic paint. So because of the nature of those walls, because of the beauty of it, we decide to cover the walls with more traditional material, which will look like actual fresco on the walls, preserving the beauty of the walls, texture and structure and porosity of it. So that's how the architect come out with the idea to cover it with silica paint, which is European invention actually. And this material outperform even traditional fresco in many aspects. So I was not the first person who started this church. There were other iconographers who worked here before me. By some technical reasons they cannot come here, and I have been called to continue this work because I have extensive experience in that particular material. So that's what I'm doing here. We just finished the cupola with prophets, 12 Old Testament prophets before windows there, and I'm working with actually I'm finishing images of four evangelists on the pendentives, those spherical triangles below cupola itself. Another image which will be done next week is image of Deisis, Christ, Theotokos, Mother of God, and St. John the Baptist will be depicted over the main entrance door to the church in the narthex. The whole decorations of the church buildings in Orthodoxy has been understood like a system of wall decorations. So there are no images placed randomly here and there. That's the large and developed system. The role iconography plays in Orthodoxy is a missionary role. So a person who enters the church, Orthodox Church, traditionally done and properly decorated, would be surrounded by Christ, his saints, his mother, which will, and that decoration actually reveals the Orthodox understanding of universe. So that is why in most cases of in most churches you would find the cupola in the center of the church with image of Christ. We call him Pantocrator, the ruler of all, in the top of that cupola. So God would look down to the people who are below, staying in prayer to Him. So that's the key image of the church. And because Orthodox people believe that God is above all, we pray Him. We are not praying to the saints. We pray to God, and saints deliver or help us to deliver those prayers to Him. God only creates miracles. So because of that, Christ is on top of all. And we have, in this church, we have Old Testament prophets standing below Christ, pointing to Him and having scrolls with their own prophecies about Christ coming, about what God thinks about our life, what should we do, what He wants from us, and such. So there are 12 Old Testament prophets who have those scrolls with texts of their prophecies, many different prophecies, and they need to be related to what people here down below needs to hear from them. And people can enter this church because they were amazed by the beauty of it. But then people need to see a live community inside of this church, community which will welcome them in their midst. And only then that missionary work will be completed and people can know Christ better than before. Alleluia.